Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. We are going live today to talk about real estate investing in Baltimore, Maryland. I love investing in Baltimore. I take a lot of my coaching students up into Baltimore, Maryland to invest. If you guys have any questions about investing in general or investing in Baltimore, Maryland, please put them in the comment section. I've got two of my agent investors coming on with me that will also talk about Baltimore. They really focus on Baltimore. Being here in the DMV with close proximity to Baltimore, Baltimore being the number one residential area for rentals, it's just great being here. And so we do a lot in Baltimore. And so we'll talk a lot about that. I see Josue is on. He's just bought a property in Baltimore. Let's see. I think Sharvita is coming on now. There she is. Hey, Sharvita. Hey, investor.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good, thank you.
So Marquis should be on here in a minute, but
Okay.
I want to talk about Baltimore. I know you've done a lot in Baltimore. You kind of favor Baltimore investing. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Sharvita House, and I am a full-time real estate investor. I invest in Baltimore, Prince George's County, Washington, D.C. so far.
And why Baltimore? What makes Baltimore so attractive?
The low entry point in terms of cost that it takes to be able to get in for flips, for buying holes, for pretty much any investment.
Okay. And
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about what you've done lately in Baltimore.
Right now I'm doing a burr right now as we speak. This one is a 5-bedroom. So I have purchased it. I've completely remodeled it, upgraded the entire property, and now I'm getting ready to put a tenant in there, refinance it. And then down the line, I'm actually going to wait and do my cash out refinance because the values are actually going up in that neighborhood, 400,000 plus. So last year I did complete 2 flips, and then I did a burr. I'm finishing up the refinance on that one right now. That one was completely paid off, and then there's a Section 8 tenant in there. And then the other one that I'm burring now in Baltimore, the 5-bedroom, that one actually will have a Section 8 tenant in it as well.
And so many people, or some people, may not know what a burr is. Why don't you explain, or I can explain what a burr.
Yeah, I can explain.
You want to go?
Yes. So the burr is when you buy it. The B is for buying, and then the R is for remodeling. Well, the first R is for remodeling, and then you refinance it and repeat, something like that.
Yes.
I just did so, but yeah.
You're gonna buy the property. You're going to renovate the property. You're going to rent it out. A lot of it's like renting out Section 8.
Yeah.
Refinance and get all your money back, pay off the lenders, and then you're going to repeat the process.
Exactly.
Sharvita, there's some old man on with us. Do you know who that old man is?
I do not recognize him.
What's up, Sharvita?
And so, gentlemen, this is Mr. Baltimore himself, McCrimmon, agent investor of Bennett Realty Solutions. And so let's bring Marquis into the fold. Marquis, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us why you like investing in Baltimore?
I love investing in Baltimore. How you doing? I'm Marquis McCrimmon. Sharvita, we know each other.
Yes.
Haven't seen each other. I'm a realtor with Bennett Realty Solutions. An investor. I choose Baltimore for multiple reasons. One is easy to get into versus DC compared to DC. But for the most part, for me, Baltimore is cash flow. I'm big on cash flow, right? Residual income. So I've been in Baltimore now since 2005, I believe. Been invested in Baltimore since 2005, heavily.
And so there's a trade-off, though, Marquis. So you talk about Baltimore as in relation to DC, invested in DC or invested in Baltimore. The trade-off of investing in Baltimore is you're really not getting a lot of appreciation or a lot of equity.
Right.
But you are getting the cash flow. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that trade-off?
I don't mind the trade-off, Greg, because I own my properties free and clear. One. Number two, for me, my vision or my goal is I'm big on retirement. Right? Like I'm 48 years old. I'm trying to retire in less than 10 years. Part of my retirement or major part of it is real estate. And when I joined the lab, I heard Sharvita speaking about the Burr method. I did the Burr method. I did do that. I did that back in 2008 and 10. I crashed and burned. I lost. But it wasn't because the method didn't work. It was because I used the wrong, I over leveraged myself, to say the least. Right. I debted out all the properties. Can you still see me? Okay, cool. Yeah, no, debted out all the properties, lived off the income, then the market crashed. So I didn't have a balance, right? So I filed a bankruptcy 2012, gave it all back, rinsed and repeat, so to speak. So probably in around 2014 to now, I've accumulated 20 plus doors, but no mortgage. So for me, what works best is owning the properties free and clear. I only use voucher tenants. I get 100% of my rental income every 30 days, and I have no debt. So, I mean, people look at it differently. As mortgages are good debt, but because I crashed and burned, I don't want to go that route again.
And so you're basically buying and holding in Baltimore, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
What about you, Sharvita? I know I actually went to at least one of your properties last year that you flipped. And so what is your strategy in Baltimore, to flip and hold?
Yes. Yeah, this current one was actually a accidental hold. So yeah, the plan was to flip it. Yeah, the plan was to flip it, but it actually turns out that it's gonna be better to hold it. And I didn't realize also that there's a huge demand for 5 bedrooms, especially with Section 8 in Baltimore City, unbeknownst to me. So it actually turned out to be an excellent thing. I probably would have rehabbed a little bit different, would have used a lot less white, but it's okay. I would not have done carpet, but it's okay. It works. I'll make it work.
Where's your property? The 5 bedroom.
Sure, it's on Holland Street. It's 1723 Hollins.
Oh, okay.
Union Square district.
Oh, nice.
It's a historic district. Yeah, it's older. It's like built in 18 something.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
And so, those of you guys who are on here, if you guys have questions about investing in Baltimore, investing in general, just put them in the comment section. We're happy to answer your questions. And if you're not following Marquis, if you're not following Sharvita or myself, go ahead and follow us. We should be on maybe another 30 minutes. So if you know anyone that's interested in investing, share this live with them. You guys talk about Baltimore. One question that I get a lot is, where in Baltimore should I invest? What are the best areas? I always say every zip code is good, every zip code is bad. But do you guys have preferred areas in Baltimore that you guys want to invest in?
Sharvita?
For me, I just go where the money is. I look at the numbers. As long as the numbers make sense and they can rent out and or sell, then I go with that. Mm-hmm.
For me, but
all last year was 21229. I'm sorry.
21229. Nice, nice.
So that's West Baltimore. That's Edmondson. So Edmondson Village. So you're investing in Edmondson Village. I actually have a 2-unit in Edmondson Village, right on Edmondson Avenue. So I do like that part of West Baltimore, primarily because, like any other part, you can buy low and sell high. And where I am on Edmondson, there's no board ups. There's little to no board.
Right.
And my 2-unit I bought for around $48,000. And now I would imagine it's worth about, I don't know, $225,000. Your Edmondson, how much did you sell yours for?
$190,000 and $200,000.
Okay, all right. And so, Marquis, what are some of your preferred areas?
I'm over east. I don't have anything over west. All my properties over east side Baltimore. 21224 and 21213. Bel Air, Edison, Canton, and Patterson Park. I
Mm-hmm.
just chose. I've been in east side of Baltimore since I've touched Baltimore. So I don't really have a preference other than when do my renovations or my maintenance, if you would, Section 8 inspections. My contractors stay all in the same area. One of my properties, I have a garage in the back, so I keep a lot of materials, extra siding, doors, drywalls, leftover paint, things like that. So we just stay in that same. That's my comfort area, if you would, for Baltimore. But I'm familiar with the east side of Baltimore. I've had properties actually near Sharvita's, Union Square. Mine was in Washington Village, Pigstown,
Oh, okay, yeah.
Ramsey, and I sold those properties. I sold them too early. I sold them in the height of this market when I sold. We're in the seller's market, but they were on bad blocks. I'm big on location for Baltimore, right? For me, I don't want to be by any board ups, any blue light districts. I want to be able to walk the alleys, you know. And then if something would happen to me, I always think about the resale of the property.
Mm-hmm.
So
Victor is asking Marquis 21217.
yeah,
What, what do you think about that?
I think all of Baltimore, to Sharvita's point, just for me, I just chose the east side. Not saying nothing's wrong with the west. The west has larger homes. So what she said for the west side of Baltimore, 5 bedrooms are in high demand. So your return on investment would be greater. I just stayed in the east side just because I know the east side, right? Like I know to move around, know the streets. And with wholesalers come with deals, I can pretty much vet it remotely versus driving all the way to Baltimore and having to run CMAs and stuff like that.
And so Victor, yeah, 21217 is great.
Yeah.
But it's hard for us to say which zip code is the best zip code because every single zip code, there's good parts in that zip code and there's bad. So Baltimore is a city that you actually have to go look, feel, look down the street, across the street, see if there's board ups all around you. But if you go look, you feel comfortable walking down the street, up and down the alley. You know, I've got a 23-year-old daughter. If I feel like she's comfortable walking up and down, that's probably a good purchase for me. I can get a good deal on the property.
That's a good rule of thumb, Greg, because it is, you know, Baltimore. I don't know if we've all, but if you've seen The Wire, that's a good depiction of parts of Baltimore, right? It is reality, as different parts in DC as well. So we know real estate is and always has been location.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm big on if you know, wholesalers, whomever sends a deal, I'll drive the area. I'll look on Google Earth. I'll do my due diligence because tenants with vouchers to me are gold, and they want to live in safe, doable homeowner blocks. I try to find a house.
And so, at what level? Speaking of the tenants, and we know that again. I said this earlier. Baltimore is the -- residential rental city in the United States because you can buy low and rent high.
Right.
52% of all the housing there, 52% of them are renters. So there's more renters in Baltimore than any other city. 52%. At what level do you guys do your renovations for your rental properties? Are you
I do mine the same pretty much. And the reason being is I want it to look attractive. I'm competing with you, Marquis. I'm competing with everybody. So when they see my property, they like, ooh, I want that one. Like I get a lot of calls like right away. So I do granite. I don't do quartz, but I do granite. I do the white soft close shaker cabinets. Hollins has tray ceilings. Again, that was accidental. That wasn't even supposed that wasn't even supposed to be a buy and hold. That was supposed to be a flip. But
Right.
it is what it is. But I mean, but with that said, it's causing me to get a ton of calls. So I mean, who knows what the future holds for trade ceilings and rental.
Right.
Long as they stay, if they stay 8 years, 10 years, I don't care. Trade ceiling don't even cost that much for real. So
Right.
I do it the same level pretty much, essentially. That way it can pop and
Right.
it can get filled quickly.
True.
Mm-hmm.
and I think more importantly, those materials are going to last a lot longer. So
Exactly.
I want to put carpet in my rental properties because I don't want to change.
Yeah, I don't like doing carpet at all. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to change every time a tenant moves out.
You know, I'm an LVP guy. I like all
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
plank flooring.
Yeah, my one in College Park has LVP, and then I have a house in Silver Spring, which was my personal residence. Now that has hardwood floors, but it wasn't supposed to be that way. But I mean, another accidental buying hoe. But with that said, typically,
You're doing a lot of house hacking.
Yeah, kind of. It wasn't supposed to be that way, but yeah, typically LVP is what I'd like to stay with for flooring. Not carpet, not hardwood floors. That can get scratched up. That I have to be careful with. But yeah.
Victor wants to know, do you have a business license?
But I put hardwood floors addendum in my lease though. So, but
Yeah, Victor asked actually a couple questions. Do you need a business license? You need a
Rental license.
In Baltimore. And so they went to that about, I'll say 2 years ago, where now you got to have a rental license, and the house has to be inspected in all of their properties. If you're renting, definitely Section 8. And then he also asked another question, are we doing a major renovation or just cosmetic? And so for me personally in Baltimore, I'm not going to touch a gut job in Baltimore. The renovation is going to cost more than what the house is worth. Right. But what about you guys? You guys doing major, minor, cosmetic?
All mine have been major, $100,000 plus.
Oh wow!
Yeah, all mine have been.
Yeah, I'm not lipstick, but the mechanicals are new.
Yeah.
I get all the galvanized piping out. So new plumbing, new electric, new HVAC. That's part of my due diligence when I'm looking at the property. I'm looking at the mechanicals to see. I don't do central air. I know that's like,
Right.
but I will put window units in the windows. Only, like I said before, one, I grew up with central. Well, I didn't grow up with central air, but nonetheless, that A core costs about $4,000 to replace when it goes out. I'm not going to get that back from the tenant. I do have forced heat. I get rid of the radiators. 200 amp service. So the mechanicals are decent. New rubber roof if needed, all vinyl, because I try to make my properties lead free. That's big in Baltimore. Right. I don't even deal with limited lead if I don't have to, but not a full gut. I've never done a full gut like in DC, only because the return on it. And I'm holding the property easily 7 to 10 years. So.
And so where are you guys finding your contractors?
Well, I am a licensed contractor, by the way. through so many hurdles, I went and got a license to be my own contractor, even though I'm subbing my work. But I have a crew that's pretty good to me in Baltimore. I'm always open to referrals. I believe are the best policy for people that already know, like, and trust somebody else. But for my mechanical people, they're pretty much the same. I use the same HVAC, same plumber. Carpenters change from time to time just based on the needs. Installing doors, plank flooring, easy for the most part. Full gut, I would definitely need a crew, if you would.
Yeah, and with the full gut, you're going through a full set of permits, inspections,
plans,
kinds of things. And so for a rental property in Baltimore, for me personally, yeah, I just want, like Marquis said, lipstick. This like paint, flooring, kitchen and baths, maybe windows. That's about it for me. What about you, Sharvita, in terms of
for the buy and holds.
You have one particular crew you use?
Cosmetic. Yes, I do. Yes, for the buy and holds and for the flips. Yes. And the way that I found them was on Facebook in the investors group. I made a post, and then I also looked through other people's posts just to kind of see the consistency of the people that were being recommended.
Yeah.
Then I at least 8 to 10 different people.
Yeah, I've got you from there. I think it's whatever that is, Baltimore. I'm in a couple of them. One of them, it might be just Baltimore Investors Network. I've gotten a few good contractors.
Victor is asking, how do you get enrolled in the Section 8 program?
You're enrolled from any property. You just list that property on Go Section 8 and accept the voucher from the tenant.
Well, you can Google Go Section 8, but it's a different site now. They just use the site.
Housing.
But what's the name of it?
Affordablehousing.com.
Okay.
But if you go to Go Section 8, it'll
redirect.
It'll redirect you there. And so, Victor, yeah, that's the best place to start is just right at the Section 8 office. If you want to register your property, they're going to tell you exactly what you need to do in terms of getting inspection, getting the license, getting the lead inspection.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those types of things. I've got a house not in Baltimore, but I'm in Capitol Heights, Maryland now, where I registered at the Section 8 office about a month ago, and we've rented it out, and I still get calls every single day. And so here's the thing, you guys, there's a shortage of housing.
It is.
And the Section 8 list is, I think you can't even get on the list anymore. They have so many people on there.
Mm-hmm.
And so renting in Baltimore is just a good, viable option.
Yeah, yeah. One hack for me is I get them from my existing tenants and I incentivize them.
Mm-hmm.
But I only want voucher tenants. I mean, I'm a realtor, but I prefer voucher tenants.
And so let's talk financing. Marquis, are you still paying cash for your properties? Are you doing the Burr method now? How are you doing yours?
Just buying cash. I'm wholesaling, getting the capital, and buying the property free and clear.
So you're taking the money from wholesaling and then flipping that money over into a property you can buy in Baltimore free and clear.
Yep.
And so you've got a number of properties free and clear in Baltimore.
Yeah, free and clear. It works for me for monthly residual. It works for stability. I'm not based.
Okay. And I was going to ask Sharvita, I don't know if she's still with us, how she's doing hers. And so what I have done in the past is paid cash. I have paid cash for one or two properties or two or three properties, and then kind of did the Burr method and refinance. I think you did that one time too.
Yeah, I did 4 of them.
You did 4. So I think I've done 3 where I've gotten one loan on the 3 properties.
Yeah. That works great for me. Like I said before, because I got stung before, I made bad decisions in the past. And I like the free and clear because it allows me to just hustle harder, if you would. I know I can always get my money back either through a sale, a refi, or like you said, a portfolio loan. But Baltimore is just less expensive. So, and I do fairly well wholesaling, so I can get the money. Now the numbers are higher. There's no more 40 and 50,000. Everything's 100, 120, 200.
Okay, well maybe we'll talk because I am finding them for 40, 50.
Nice, decent neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. I haven't looked in a minute, but that's sweet. Yeah, you already know to keep it low. I'm not buying nothing for 200.
And then there's a lot of my investors who are finding these properties on the internet. I mean, on auctions.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, I want to experience that.
And then how are you finding your properties? How are you finding
wholesale deals? One, because I'm either through other wholesalers. 2, it might end up being my listing that I bought. My last 2 were my listing. Actually, somebody wanted to get rid of them. They didn't see the potential, so I actually bought them. 3, just mainly wholesalers right now.
And so Josue actually asked the question, and I see Allison on here too. They both found their properties on the auction sites.
Gotcha.
So Ashland Auctions, Hubzu, Auction.com, or even going to the courthouse steps in Baltimore City, Baltimore County. You can find properties there. And so a lot of people are finding properties. That property, you met me over a year ago in Harlem Park. I think it was on Harlem Avenue.
Yeah.
I found that property just through cold calling. So we were cold calling a list of absentee owners. And I found that property, paid them $8,000, had a few board ups on the street. But if you recall, I paid $8,000 for it, cleaned it up. I said, Marquis, what should I do with it? You said, just clean it up and give it to an auction site.
Yep.
So that's what I did. I paid $1,500, had a crew go in there and just clean it up real good. And then I gave that property to Ashland Auctions.
I actually just wholesaled 2 properties with that same method. I've never even seen the properties. Well, via FaceTime, I saw the property, but I paid to get them cleaned out and and wholesale. So the actual buyer just didn't want, they couldn't see past it being this nasty, right? So I put it on the contract, charged them to clean it out. The person who was wholesaling it got it cleaned out. I added, the wholesale fee on top and included the renovation cost too. So, yeah. Because Baltimore has tons of board ups. I think they're trying to do a little something more about the board ups.
Mm-hmm.
I follow the mayor.
All right, so here's another question. I think it's how do I vet the property I see on auction sites before I start bidding? And so, Sharvita, you've bought a couple of your properties on auctions, right?
Yes, I have. Uh-huh.
And so how did you vet the properties?
I just check out the numbers first, like looking to see what the ARV was, looking at the pictures to just kind of see what the renovation cost could be, and then also drive to check out the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the answer. So we've got to run the numbers, and as long as the numbers work. Now, on an auction property, I use 60% of the after repair value minus repair cost on auction properties, and so that's how you vet. Now, in Baltimore, as I said earlier, you can't just run numbers. You actually have to go look at the property in Baltimore, because it could be in a really good zip code. Let's just say 21218 that encompasses Charles Village, John Hopkins University. But there's also board ups in that zip code as well when you get a little further down close to North Avenue. And so Baltimore, you actually still have to look at the property when you're bidding on an auction site. And so you've got to vet the property that way. And then you've got to run the numbers.
Right.
Sharvita, you said you're investing in 21229?
Yes, last year I did 2 properties over there. Right, Emerson Avenue.
Yeah.
It was rough getting offers though. The first one I went through like almost 20 people talking about the street was too busy. I'm not sure about the neighborhood.
So are you concerned about are you getting any pushback about the board ups? Is that one of your rule of thumbs, like no board ups on the street, or you just more focused on the number?
I focus on the numbers, but all of mine have had board ups. Hollins has 2 board ups, but I mean, it's a nice neighborhood and the values are coming up. But what I do is I take it a step further. I actually go on the permit website and I look and see which permits have been pulled as of recently. What kind of action is going on in the neighborhoods too.
Got it. I like it. Yeah, the board ups have affected my insurance sometimes. Like they'll give me insurance and then 2 months later go out and try to drop me because I've had this happen. Too many board ups on the block. And Section 8, I believe it is a percentage that they don't want. Are you just Section 8 or?
That's true. I'm open to all, but right now I'm focusing on Section 8. And I'm not having a real issue with Section 8. This is going to be the first one that's going to have board ups on the block, but the board ups, they're not close by me.
Okay.
One down at the beginning of the block, but you can tell it's a really nice block and it's a block of homeowners also. So that probably makes a difference. And then another one is way further down. So from what I heard, it shouldn't be an issue with Hollins. What I did want to say is for the first Edmondson flip I did, that one was a nightmare because what happened was I had and it wasn't even a board up. It was their house right beside mine. It was an investor. Clearly they misbudgeted or miscalculated something. Well, there was a whole ton of demo stuff like piled almost as high as the house in the backyard.
Right. No dump.
Exactly. But then by the time I was done with my project and get ready to list it, there was all this demo stuff in the backyard, but there was no real owner because it was in limbo. Like it was listed for sale again because the person, the investor didn't know what they were doing. So you know what I did? I paid to have somebody haul all that stuff. I mean, it was toilets, it was towels, everything because the house was being gutted down to the studs.
Right.
I paid to the tune of like $1,200 to get
it out because it affected you were joined to the house, next door neighbor, just on the same block.
Like right next door. Yeah.
Wow.
And it really affected the sale, but I ended up getting $190 for mine, one of the highest comps in the neighborhood. So
yeah. If you're flipping, I would definitely go all out for Baltimore. I'm seeing some 200, 300, but they're total guts. They're total, everything's brand new.
Yeah, exactly.
Granite countertops. Yeah. To answer your question, Greg, my materials are LVP. I have started using granite. I was not a granite guy. I was a Formica cabinet guy. I'm sorry, Formica countertop.
Oh,
But
wow.
oh yeah. But like you said, I mean, in this environment, it has changed, and you do have to.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear. Marquis
Oh,
went out a little
Yeah,
bit.
Marquis, you
yep,
want
I
to?
can hear you. Phone
I
was-
can hear everyone.
Let's answer some questions. Looks like Josue is asking, do you look at retail comps or rental comps when you're doing the Burr method? And so, Josue, you're looking at your after repair value comps. The answer is both. And
Yeah.
so you have to look at both, because the lender is going to look at your after repair value, because they're going to do an appraisal, and they're only going to lend you somewhere between 70 and 80% of the after repair value. And so that's when you go back to refinance. And then you've got to look at your rental comps, because you want to make sure, number one, that you're renting the property for more than what your mortgage payment is going to be. And so you want to run both comps. When you're doing a Burr method, you want to run both comps before you purchase the property. But more importantly, you want to sit down with your lender, so that after you purchase the property, renovate it, rent it out, you want to make sure that you can refinance and get all your money back. So you want to sit down with your lender when you're doing the Burr method before you even purchase the property. You want to sit down with them. Does it matter to have all the same brand appliances when flipping?
No, as long as they're the same color. For me, it didn't make a difference as long as they were all the same color, like stainless steel.
Okay. I've never had mismatch appliances.
Brand. Oh, for brand, you do all the same brand.
All the same brand. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Maybe I'll do that when I come over to the other counties then. But Baltimore City, they didn't seem to care.
Janelle, hey Janelle's asking, who do you use for clean out? So
I found them on the investors group, and then I look at other people's posts, because a lot of people, they have already made that post. I just go in the search bar for clean out.
So yeah, there's clean out crews, Janelle, that you can use. I can refer you to a clean out crew. Actually, the clean out crew that I use in Harlem Park, Marquis referred me to them to clean out that property. But there's crews that will clean out, and I actually have some locally that will clean out for you.
Mm-hmm.
The type of areas we talk about: A properties, B properties, C and D neighborhoods. Marquis, what do you prefer in terms of the type of neighborhoods?
BC, Greg, not A, but so actually CD. Be honest with you, I'm just yeah. I just need, like Sharvita just said, I just need cash flow. But my neighborhoods, I am critical about the neighborhood, if you would. So I'm looking for a few different things. I need to be able to be comfortable myself. Like I said, if somebody else had to manage the property or go to the property, let's say a female, not judgmental, but at the same token, the area is big to me, because like I said before, back in 2006, 2007, I was just buying anything in Baltimore. I didn't care about the street, the block. I didn't care about the comps. I didn't care about anything. I was just buying it because it was cheaper than DC. Having been in Baltimore for so long and dealt with it in the trenches, I'm more respective of the neighborhoods. I do want homeowner blocks, so I can put the homeowner blocks. They tend to manage my tenant better than me, right? That's number one. But C, D, B neighborhoods, if you would. I don't know if I want D neighborhoods anymore. I consider D neighborhoods, liquor store right on the corner, or the blue light dish, the blue lights. You can get a cheaper house there, but I don't know that all the tenants want to live there. I think the people are moving out of there to the better neighborhood. So I prefer to be see neighborhoods.
And so I like BC neighborhoods is what my preference is. I BC neighborhoods, and so when we're talking about B and C neighborhoods, and I know we talked zip codes earlier. What are some of the areas that you guys see as up and coming? Like one of the areas that I see is Upton. Upton, in my opinion, is up and coming. Sharvita, you just purchased in was it Union Square?
Yeah, Union Square. My block is actually up and coming. Yeah. I got a question for
And
y'all.
so
Where's the blue light? Because I got one on my street. What's that?
That's the police. So a high drug trafficking area. So they put the blue lights there to kind of deter the drug traffics and to keep the.
But my block is nice though. Maybe it used to be drugs on it.
Or crime, not just drugs, but break-ins and things of that nature. If you Baltimore City Police's website, type address, it'll tell you the recent activity. There's something that has been reported there. Did they just put the blue lights? It's been
there last year.
Okay, yeah. It's supposed to be the police surveillance, so they can see what's going on. So at some point, it was, they're trying to gentrify these communities. In Baltimore being
gentrified because actually next door they keep their windows open at like nighttime. You can see through the house, and but yeah. That's other homeowners on the block too. Like it's nice. That's what I was like, what is that? But it sounds bad.
yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I mean, but I try to stay away from those, right? Like I'm not just, but my main thing is border. I don't want to be about borders, but because of rodent infestation, number one, number two, because a lot of fires. They have a lot of house fires from the drug addict going in just finding stuff. I have a vacant property right now in Baltimore, 2308 East Hoffman Street. That was one of my first properties I bought in 2005. I can't give it away.
Oh, wow.
I mean, and that's just because how bad the block is.
Right.
Out the car again going around there just because of the, it's just drugs, all drugs. So I can't give it away.
And so how are you guys managing? Marquis, I don't think you use a property manager, do you?
No, I manage mine myself. They're pretty self-managed, to be honest with you, because Section 8, I don't get the phone calls. When I buy the properties, I renovate them correctly, right? Like no plumbing issues. So the typical calls that you might get because of galvanized piping. So I eradicate all the galvanized piping, no knob and tube wiring. I either pull back from the plaster walls or I laminate, meaning go over top of it with thinner drywall to make it clean, right? Bigger boards. So the phone calls, and then when I do get them, they're minimal. I can minimal. I can just send out a contractor, garbage disposal, leaking, or something small.
What about you, Sharvita? Are you going to be using a property manager?
Yes, Prime House Property Management.
That's your
plug. That's mine.
I'm about to say that's your. Oh, well, if that's the case, Greg, then in management, I have a property management company.
So yeah, primehouseproperties.com. They're excellent. They're A+ Better Business Bureau accredited company. They're the best.
What is it? Prime what?
Oh, he's
Prime, PRIME, primehouseproperties.com.
Got you.
So it's Prime House Property Management.
I knew that was your. You blew up. You got it. Love it.
And so you guys have been primarily buying residential properties. I'm assuming primarily row houses. Any thought in the future of multifamily in Baltimore?
Definitely.
Oh, definitely. I'm just kind of a little leery with the multifamilies that have tenants already in them. But when I find the right one that doesn't have any tenants, then I'll probably go ahead and make that move.
Yeah, I don't buy with tenants in them, period.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get them out. And I always think selling properties, and it's, teachers, I guess it can go both ways. The tenant's either not paying, they don't get along.
Right.
Or there's an issue with the landlord getting the tenants out.
Exactly.
I purchased one property. I actually have a rooming house where it's 4 guys and they're perfect, but I don't make a habit of it. I want the property vacant so I can just go in and do what I need to do so I can turn it over to my style of rental.
Right.
Any idea of the future of Baltimore? Because as long as I've been in real estate,
it's been the same.
a long time. Baltimore's always been an up and coming city. I am starting to see some appreciation. There's
Hmm.
been appreciation over the last year, and then over the
Yeah.
really last 5 years. And
Mm-hmm.
it's always, and I kind of started off this live with it's great for cash flow,
Mm-hmm.
not good for building equity through appreciation.
Right.
But what I am seeing now is appreciation. Um, Baltimore, you guys, believe it or not, got 14% appreciation last year,
Oh, wow.
Wow.
which is incredible, and 36% over the last 5 years. And so it's coming.
Wow.
And so why would you guys think that depreciation is getting higher? I mean, I know there's a shortage of housing even in Baltimore, but all across the region. Primarily because interest rates are so high. So so low. So there's a lot of buyers, and then there's a shortage of housing, which makes it a seller's market. But other than that, what do you guys think makes Baltimore so attractive
A
for
lot of
for?
people in the market right now, Greg, that are interested in getting out of the rat race.
Mm-hmm.
Like just trying to create either, generational wealth. That's the buzzword. Trying to get that extra income. We're in like an app society right now. People are doing Grubhub, Uber, things of that nature. But to get a rental property for some people is big, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they choose in Baltimore. For me, I choose Baltimore, and I love Baltimore. And people say you'll do Baltimore all day long.
Yeah.
And afford Baltimore. Number
Yeah.
one,
The
uh,
for
it's affordable, right? It's 45 minutes down the road. The up and coming piece, I have a property over in Westport that I purchased. I renovated it. COVID hit. Haven't stuck a tenant in it yet, but it's already gone up to like probably about 50,000 in value, right? Because they're building at Westport, right over there when you first come into Baltimore, on the right hand side about Cherry Hill. All that's going away. Actually, an investor that wanted to buy it from me showed me the master plan. So I'm just holding on to that property, but I didn't buy it with that in mind, right? I bought it because it was 40,000. It was in a great zip code or great area. It was no board ups, and I can get about 1,500 a month rent. But I think that a lot of people are getting on to understanding that you can't just die with Social Security, and a 9 to 5 is not going to save you. We're now entering, looks like, another war. So everything that happens, and this is another reason why not over leveraging your properties is important. What I learned firsthand. So for me, I need all the cash flow, right? I need all the residual income. I do great selling real estate. I do good wholesaling real estate, but just having that cash in my account doesn't benefit me, because if it's not working for me, it's dying, right? So for me, I transfer it over to hard assets, and they can withstand. Real estate has been here before me. It's going to be here after me, and it can withstand the test of time. Baltimore, I'm sorry, DC, I think you need $500,000 to get in. And you're not going to get the rental income. You get depreciation, but I need the cash. I need the rental income.
Right.
It works for me.
And then plus, Baltimore honestly is a great town. It's got great restaurants, great neighborhoods. I love like Little Italy.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the other areas of Baltimore, I just love.
The CIAA is this weekend, right? Or is it next weekend? CIAA,
I think it's this weekend.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's this weekend.
They're hosting it in Baltimore.
Pros and Allison wants to know, Marquis, pros and cons of a rooming house.
I only have one, but it works. The numbers are crazy. It works. It works better than a whole house rental, to be truthfully honest with you. But
I heard. What about the turnover though? Are you having to turn them over often, or is it more like
no,
a year they stay?
I purchased it with these 4 guys in it. These 4 guys are great tenants, clean. I've been updating it as they live there, right? They all go to church together. So I purchased a good situation, so to speak.
Oh,
So I've painted, tore out the elevator carpet, put in LVP, renovated the bathrooms, all while they're there. I'm doing that with expectation that if they leave, I'm going to get a family, right? But the cash flow from it outweighs the one tenant family of $1,500 a month. That's my sweet spot, $1,500 a month rent. So for this, I'm getting $500 a week per guy. So that's $2,000, right? Extra $500 a month, extra $6,000 a year. The numbers work clearly, and I'm not chasing rent.
Is that in Canton? Where is that? Fells Point?
That's the property I met you in. That's on Federal Hill. I'm not Federal Hill. Federal Street, 3,000 block of East Federal Street.
Okay.
if you look at it, it's a house, but it's zoned 2 units. So each guy has their own room, basement, the kitchen. I didn't like it at first. The kitchen was in the basement, but again, these people were already there, and they're great tenants. Like, they take care of the property, no fuss. And like I said, I'm getting $500 above rental market.
Would you guys recommend buying rental properties with tenants already in there?
No, even though I did it, but no, I only did it because I got the house for $50,000.
What about an 8 tenant that's paying, top of the line?
I had a bad experience with it. I wouldn't do it again, even if it was Section 8.
Yeah.
No.
I like tenant, man, because I get personal, and I probably shouldn't with the property. So I want to go in, renovate it to my specs.
Mm-hmm.
So because I'm also, 1, self-managed, but for 2, I want the property. I want to give somebody a good product. So, taking on something that Section 8 is the property would make most people say, yeah, I'll get it, because they're not prepared to be a landlord. Landlording is a business. It's not just, hey, I'm about a property because somebody's giving me money and get out. Because we already know they can be a thorn in your side if you're a slumlord. So buy it, incentivize the tenant to leave out. They can come back when I clean it up, but I like to go in there and touch it.
And so I'm glad you said that, Marquis. Rental properties is a business, and each house is a business. And so you got to treat it as such. What I see is, well, number one, I see a lot of investors, they're over leveraging themselves. And to be fair, I've made that mistake in my past, where I probably had too many properties and just couldn't keep up. So I do see that a lot, but I also see a lot of investors buying rental properties, and then in 3, 4, 5 years later, they're selling the properties because they can't keep up. They're tired of the tenants, toilets, and termites. But you've got to look at it as a business and know that this is part of your retirement, part of your generational wealth, part of what you're going to leave to your children in terms of legacy. And all 3 of us are really big on that: legacy, building generational wealth, preparing ourselves for retirement. And so you got to go through the ups and downs of rental properties.
Agreed.
And it's not, and the other mistake I see is, if one has, let's say, an $800 a month positive cash flow, that is not $800 a month that you can put in your pocket and spend.
Exactly.
Go get a new car.
No.
Yeah.
I rarely even touch my cash flow.
Right.
Or at the very least take a look every quarter. But I want to put that money in the account just in case something goes wrong.
Yeah. Or when something goes wrong, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And so that's where I see people fail. But just know that you're building wealth. Every single day you're building wealth, because the property is appreciating. Even in Baltimore, the properties are appreciating.
I'm also seeing people just purchase a property wrong.
Oh.
Know how to renovate, so they didn't do their due diligence. Is just, hey, I got this property in Baltimore and it's got a Section 8 tenant in it, right? They're not doing it, but the number is way above. They don't have any equity when they're buying it. They're not prepared to be a landlord. They just think that he or she is going to pay the rent every month and keep it moving. Then they go refinance and do an 80% loan to value. They're debted out, and I'm seeing that, and I'm recognizing it. 1, I'm a realtor, but 2, I did that in 2008, 2009. Then the market shift. I'm seeing some of the same behaviors from, I'm not going to say rookie investors, but just people that are so eager to have a rental property, or so eager to just, they see Sharvita, one is a female, and doing it. So they just going to go say, instead of reaching out to her and say, hey, mentor me, help me, I'm just going to go listen to this live and go do exactly what Sharvita does. Because people here, I have 20 plus properties, and figure like, oh, you're rocking. But they don't talk about the 16 that I lost in 2010. Exactly. Or they don't talk about the renovation from hell, or the tenant from hell. Because Instagram, Facebook, or a lot of these, they're about
HGTV.
Yeah, it's about glorifying, oh, look at me, I'm about to do this, pull out 100,000, I'm ready to go. But nobody's talking about, hey, tell me about when you screwed up. You know what I mean? Tell me about how you learned to not over leverage, right? So I feel bad sometimes when I'm too honest, or give people because I'm a straight shooter. When I tell them, like, you're not prepared to be a landlord, because I hear it. So it's best. I'm gonna try to do what prime house management is. By the way, I need your website information, and we'll connect after that to get that. But they don't believe, Greg, in mentorship. If I have to say anything, they don't believe in just standing on the shoulders of somebody who's already done it, right? And I'm an open book, but I'm a truth person, right? I'm gonna tell you what it is, and then some people are just not. It's a grind. It is definitely a grind. I don't care if you got the sweet deal, you got to get the money, and even to do the Bird method, you got to have, excuse my language, some balls to
Right.
pull out that money and do the right thing, good money management with that money. Because some people will pull it out and go to Miami and come back and get a new car and just feel like, oh, I'm good. But then when the market shifts, you got $100,000 debt in Baltimore that's worth 30 grand. You know, Baltimore's $20,000 house all day long.
Right.
And now their mortgage are upside down, they're screwed. A lot of the properties that I got, that's how I purchased them. I bought them through short sale. If people just got tapped out, you know, the husband didn't know what the wife was doing, the wife didn't do the numbers, you know, she saw something or took a boot camp. She didn't reach out and just say, hey, help me, hold my hand.
And so I think my advice would be to buy one property at a time,
Yeah.
or even one a year.
Yeah.
Take time, buy one a year. You
And
know,
learn.
some people look at this live and say, "Oh, I'm going to run to Baltimore and buy up a whole bunch of properties."
Yeah.
You could be buying up a whole bunch of problems if you don't buy the property right.
Yeah.
If you don't have a contractor, if you don't
Yeah.
get the right tenant, you got to vet the tenant.
Yeah.
Just because there's Section 8 and the city is paying the rent doesn't mean that they're going to be a good tenant.
You'll get the tenant from hell. And if some don't even get past, like you said, the contractor piece is a piece within itself. That's for a whole nother live.
I know.
Yeah. You don't know what you're doing because somebody tell you anything, right? Tear it out when it doesn't all need to be tore out. You can go over top of the plaster. You don't have to tear all the plaster out, but you learn that from either somebody getting over you or telling you, I'm just going to tear it all out. The plaster is installation. You can go over it with 1/4-inch drywall, change the baseboard, and keep moving.
All day long.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
day. And so, Sharvita, talk really quickly. You and I have talked about this before. Talk a little bit about being a female in a male-dominated field industry.
So put the word black on there, Greg. She's a black female, right? In a male-dominated. Well, not. I don't know if it's dominated now. Women are rising, but she's one of many that you could probably say.
Yeah.
I just get it done regardless. I do. So
Do you feel contractors treat you a little differently?
I feel like they do that to everybody, to be honest. But mine kind of had issues with their subs last year, I want to say. So it wasn't anything personal. Like when one of my projects kind of sat for a punch out list for 2 weeks. When I had a conversation with them, come to find out they had that issue with other projects too. So I've been really lucky with my contractors, but in terms of just regular issues, I don't see it because whatever I want to do, I do it. I get it done. If I
Good.
get it done with you, I go around, I use somebody else, or I make it happen. So
Yeah, you got to be fearless like that, and not everybody is like that. Rather, it's female or male. Some people are more laid back, and they don't take a. That's a doggy dog. Like you said, I think it's male and female.
yeah.
And so,
But yeah, no, my contractors, they're really good. Like they would run out to projects, go give me bids without even charging me, even if the numbers don't work on that project. They've actually done that at least 5 or 6 times for me, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So my contractors, they're pretty fast with full rehabs, about 6 to 8 weeks. Maximum has been 8 weeks.
Oh wow.
General business dealings. If I feel that I'm not being treated fairly, I generally speak up and move on to something else if that doesn't work. But I don't sweat it, so I generally don't see it. I'm used to. I come from a business background, so I'm used to just kind of getting things done.
so you persevere. That's good. That's how you.
I don't let any.
When you're running a business, when you're running a business, you have to persevere and don't give up. And
Even
so,
if I have
what
money or something takes longer, it doesn't matter. I get it done.
Good attitude to have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
Are you using a permit runner, or are you pulling your own permits?
you. The contractors do it all.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good.
and they have their person that did the drawings too. So,
Good.
There's a couple questions, you guys. What do you think about Frederick, Maryland versus Baltimore? I mean, I would say that there's no comparison in terms of cash flow.
Right.
There's no comparison in terms of the number of houses that you have the ability to purchase. If you're from Frederick or live down that way, I would say that's probably a good option for you. But in terms of residential rental areas, there's no better place, honestly, in the DMV. If you're looking for cash flow, there's no better place than Baltimore. Frederick's not going to give you the kind of cash flow that Baltimore will.
Yeah.
Let me see if there's any other questions. What is the max you should get for your cash flow? And so, do you guys have a number in terms of what is your goal when you're trying to rent a property? So mine is if I'm in Baltimore, I want to start off somewhere between. I'll say I'll go as low as 700, but my goal is to get to $1,000 a month in positive cash flow in Baltimore, because I just know that we're going to get, even though appreciation is better now, we're not going to get as the type of appreciation that you would get in, say, DC, but of course it's a lot cheaper. And so I'll say somewhere between $700 and $1,000 is where I want to start. Do you guys have a number in terms of cash flow where you guys want to start?
I'm 1,500.
Wow.
I'm about 1,700 on College Park, but I'm refinancing that, so that's going to be different with the note on it. But I'm the same. I'm like 700 plus. Mm-hmm.
So Marquis, you're finding properties where you can start at $1,500 a month in positive cash flow?
Yep, I'm only buying in the areas that I know I can get rent for $1,500. My lowest rent is $1,375, and that's just because Section 8 didn't classify that middle bedroom as a bedroom, and I didn't want to put a skylight in the roof. That's the only reason I'm getting $125 less. But that's just the tail of the tape.
Wow, that's good. I mean, if you can start off at $1,500 a month in positive cash flow, because you normally don't see that kind of cash flow unless you're buying multifamily.
Right. Greg, because I'm not. If I refinance a property, it probably cuts in half. So I'm right where you are, 750, 800. But keeping it free and clear, the taxes.
Oh, that's different. Yeah, absolutely.
We're cheap in Baltimore, so yeah, I'm doing the numbers at 1,500, man. On the low end, 13. But when I first started, I was happy with $300 a month because I was buying it, renovating it. I was using hard money. I would refinance it through the credit union. And I was, back then it was 90% loan to value. I pulled a whole 90 out. I didn't do the right thing with the difference. I was the one that went to Miami. I bought a motorcycle. I lived off the difference because we were in an appreciating market, such as what we're in now. I didn't see the end in mind. So now when we crashed and burned in 2008, 2010, the market shifted. So I'm sitting with a $120,000 note. Tenant left. I wasn't big on Section 8 because I was going with what people were saying. So now I got a mortgage to maintain, no tenant. And Baltimore, vacant house, they'll come steal your pipes. Well, I learned the hard way. They come take the copper out. It just got to be a mess. So I started chasing my tail. But once I rinsed and repeated, I understood now what I did wrong. One, I bought wrong. I paid wrong. I bought at the height of the market. So I was just buying just to say I had some rental property, but wasn't making no money, maybe $300 a month. So now I rinse and repeat. I'm in a better neighborhoods. I'm really not paying over $75K, truth be told, all in. You saying you find them at 48 or 50, I'm interested in that's my more sweet spot. Anything above 100, I want multifamily or Union Square, Fells Point, in those neighborhoods that are already Charles Village, that are already established. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel and go into a neighborhood where I'm going to be the only one around here with, I don't want to be the Cadillac in the ghetto, so to speak, right?
And so I think I would add Hamden to that list. Hamden is up and coming, but a lot of people would say it's already there. Pigtown was down at one point, but now Pigtown, there's a lot of renovation going on in Pigtown. Pigtown is, close to the inner harbor. You can walk there from Pigtown.
Yeah.
We already talked about Edmondson Village. Any other areas that you guys can think of? I will tell you guys listening that Upton, look into Upton. The Upton area is really up and coming. The city has put in a lot of money into Upton. So I would look at that. let's answer these questions and then I'll get you guys out of here. It says share more on due diligence you do when buying off market or through auctions. And so I can start off. So off market or auctions. And so what we're trying to convey in this live is you got to buy the properties right. And so you got to know your numbers. And so the number one mistake that most investors make is buying the properties wrong. Marquis talked about a coaching program or having a mentor. That's just vital. They're going to keep you from, you will lose without a coach or a mentor. You're going to lose more money than you would spend with a coach or a mentor. Mm-hmm. And so, so it starts there. So you find a property. If it's in Baltimore, not only do you need to look at the numbers, you've got to go look at the neighborhood and drive the neighborhoods. Make sure that there's not a lot of board ups and what's coming into the neighborhood. Once you do that, then you make an offer. You take action, make an offer. Make sure you've got your financing straight. How are you going to finance the property? You're going to pay cash. You're going to use a hard money lender. You're going to go the traditional route. Just know in Baltimore, there's not a lot of hard money lenders in Baltimore. There are some, and we know who they are, but there's not a lot of hard money lenders in Baltimore. So you've got to have your financial strategy. Are you going to use the Burr method? You're going to use a hard money lender or pay cash. And then if you're holding, then refinance into permanent financing. Mm-hmm. Yep. And the contractor, you've got to have the right contractor, get recommendations on the contractor. And then even during that process, that renovation process, make sure you go visit that property every other day if possible. It's very difficult for us. A lot of us are, here closer to the DC area. Baltimore is probably, 30, 40, 45-minute drive. You don't always want to go to the properties. And so that's another issue. If the contractor knows you're not going to be there, sometimes they're not going to be there. And so how often are you guys going to Baltimore, visiting your properties, checking on the contractors? How often are you guys up that way?
I'm pretty much set it and forget it at this point. I haven't purchased anything new. My rentals are kind of on autopilot. So I haven't been back and forth to Baltimore. If I were to go to vet a deal, then that would be the only reason for me to run up and down the road. I haven't been back and forth to Baltimore at all. But to speak on what you said, Greg, with new investors or even seasoned investors, I think seasoned investors probably already have adapted, but new investors need to have the mindset to know I'm going to be a landlord. And they have to really respect that piece of a business, because buying a house, renting it out, getting your cash flow back, but not managing your tenant, because it's truthfully just, you're managing people.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And expectations of people, right? It's not just, the cash flow is king, don't get me wrong, and that works. But if you're afraid to evict somebody, or you don't have even if Sharvita gave you her whole playlist of every contractor, if you're not used to working with contractors, it doesn't even matter, right? Like she said, if one door closed, she's already at the other door. Or if somebody feel like they're treating her wrong, she's going to go find what she's expected. If new investors don't know that, and you can't pour that into them, they have to know that, okay, this is grunt work. Mm-hmm. And I got to go to Baltimore. I might not feel like it, but if my money's in Baltimore, I'm going to Baltimore.
Right.
Or find somebody to go to Baltimore.
The way you look at it is, I'm going to Baltimore to preserve my wealth.
Right.
Preserve my generational wealth. And
right.
So got to go up there.
Yeah.
Do you guys purchase out of state? I know I don't, because I want to look at my properties. I want to be in close proximity. You guys purchase out of state at all?
I don't have anything out of state.
I don't have anything yet.
All right. You look at that?
You said like in Atlanta, Miami, something like that? Where are you looking, Sharvita?
Who, me? Oh, I'm not actively looking right now. Once I get some more properties in this area, then I'll look at other areas. Mm-hmm.
I do want another vacation home though. So that is on my radar.
Oh, okay.
Buy it in a seller's market. I want to buy it. I don't want to buy it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at different areas for I say vacation, but it would probably be more retirement home, right? Or where I'm head at in 15 years, or 10 years, or something like that. Mm-hmm. There's a person in our office, Leon Bailey, who's investing in Atlantic Beach, and he's actually building houses. So that's interesting to me. Not so much Atlantic Beach, but the possibility of transitioning to that.
And so, guys, let me get you guys out of here. What advice would you give? This was very informative, though. You guys have done a wonderful job. Thank you guys very much for spending your Fridays. I think, do I owe you guys lunch, or what do I owe you guys?
Nothing, Greg. We're good.
Well, I don't turn down food, so.
And so what advice would you give those that are tuning in, wanting to build wealth, possibly build wealth in Baltimore? What advice would you give?
Sharvita?
Get
a mentor. Greg, get involved with mentors such as Greg.
Yep. I agree with Sharvita. Also, mindset. So it's one thing, but if you're not prepared for what the mentor brings to you, then it doesn't matter, right? You could be speaking on death. I think that a person has to really understand that they want it. You got to have that burning desire to want to be an investor. And because you're spending money, you're spending time. And when you do that, because mentorship is not easy. And if a person, true mentor such as Greg, they're taking their time and pouring themselves into you because they want to see a result, right?
Exactly.
Not so much as money, but they want to go see you do something. Like I always joke about this, and I say Greg's my lifetime mentor, but he knows if he pours into me, he's going to see action result. Even if I fail, I'll learn from it and go rinse and repeat. But there are a lot of people that raise their hand, just like as we get buyers, as agents, tire kickers, just want to be a part to say, hey, I just want to be, just talk to Greg all day long, but you're never doing anything. You're not pulling the trigger. So it's the mindset, right? It's around like-minded individuals. So we got to get uncomfortable and be comfortable with being uncomfortable. I know that sometimes that's a cliche or it's mean, but it's true. It wasn't until I got uncomfortable that I started to see results, and I changed my circle, not deliberately, but my circle wasn't speaking the same language I was speaking, right? So when you get a mentor, somebody that's greater than you, or somebody that's going to pour into you, they can't be talking the same as you. 90% of the time they won't, because if you knew better, we do better.
Right.
All right, you guys are very articulate. You know that?
You know what, man?
And so I just want to echo everything that you guys have said. We have to help each other, and it's cliche that you've got to be in the right circles, you got to be around the right people, but it's just honestly, it's just so true.
Yeah.
But you got to get the information and then take action. Like I bought my first property at 23 years old, but I had the proper information. I studied this gentleman by the name of Carlton Sheets. And I read it. There was an ad in the classified section of Washington Post that said it was a property in DuPont Circle. I'm like 23 years old, but I was like, I want a great life for myself. I'm going to go and check it out and kind of walk back from that experience with my first property. And so we've got to take action. It's 2022. 2022 is starting to get away from us. A lot of you guys have dreams of grandeur, but if you don't take action, you're not going to accomplish anything. So get with the right people. Get with me. Follow Marquis. Follow Sharvita. Follow me. Obviously, we're going to continue to give you guys just really good, great information. I see a lot of my platinum coaching students on here. Cooper is on here. Andre, Greg Gamby. I saw Allison earlier. I won't scroll through, but a lot of them are here. Danielle was on here. A lot of these guys are on here, but Keith is on here. Keith Bennett is on here. Guys are on here because they still want to learn. They hear from me often throughout the week, but they're on here because they're hungry. They want to learn. I don't want their excuse to be, I don't have a mentor, or I don't have any resources. I'm not educated. I don't want that to be the excuse.
Right.
We want to give you guys everything so that you can jump out. Myself, Marquis, Sharvita, we're just ordinary people. None of us is born with a silver spoon in our mouths.
Yeah.
But the common denominator is we just want to be great.
Yeah.
We want to leave a legacy.
Yeah.
Generational wealth. We want to retire financially free. All the things that you guys want for yourselves, getting out of the rat race of life, is what we want. Kind of the difference is we've kind of taken action. Has it been easy? No. Has there been stumbling blocks and hurdles all along the way? Yeah, but like Sharvita said earlier, we persevere. And
Yeah.
you got to keep persevering. And then you look up, and it's like, wow, I did this. I've got this portfolio. I've got this kind of cash flow coming in. And it's job well done. And that's what I want for everybody.
Yeah.
Good job.
I do want to plug. We're having a retirement because, in essence, all this is about for me is retirement. So I do have a retirement event tomorrow where I'm bringing some of my my Big Life Financial Services agents on to talk retirement. A lot of what we're going to talk about is investing, but we're also going to talk annuities. We're going to talk straight to the federal government workers and getting you guys straight with your retirement. Different types of life insurances and things like that. So we'll talk about, you guys can go to the bio, my bio, and register for the event tomorrow. I think the handout might be up by now. It's 9 o'clock. It's virtual tomorrow. We'll talk retirement tomorrow. Also, if you guys want more information on investing, you can also go to my bio. There's a free masterclass that you guys can take, right?
Okay.
For my free masterclass, just go to the link in my bio. All right, you guys, take care, you guys. Let's all of us win. Let's all of us win together. There's a gap. There's a gap with people of color that we need to start closing.
Yeah.
And we teach each other how to build wealth. We start closing that gap, and let's start doing it one by one. All right, you guys, take care. God bless, and we will talk to you guys soon. Have a wonderful
Bye.